We'll see me.
Yeah, look.
Why wouldn't you be behind the screen?
Fuck me, can you see you? Look at the state of that.
There you go. Yeah, not missing you, are
Well, my question to you again is, why would the on button not be behind the fucking screen?
It's at the back. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's on the wrong side. The button's on the wrong side. I was looking on the right side.
Let's get the podcast.
Not many questions we'll answer.
Rob Ladby, let's get this podcast.
Should we get on it, guys?
rolling.
Let's get on it. Hang on, let me just mention Royal Flush.
Royal Flush, mate.
Royal Flush.
I'm getting riled up.
Here we go. Yes, that's right. We are back once again here on the Collapsing Pocket Podcast.
That wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, we're back. We're back for the Collapsing Pocket Podcast, brought to you by, of course, Royal Flush Designs.
Of course.
By who, sorry?
Royal Flush Designs,
Never heard of
or
them.
at Ryle Flush. You may know.
Oh, right, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are back. My name is Rob Ward. You can always call me Wardy, or to quote one of our dear listeners, Tyrone's Power. I am the Mike Tomlin, the sexy motherfucker who holds it all together. I am joined, as ever, continuing this analogy, by our very own Bill Belichick, the all-knowing Simon Carroll, and I am joined by our very own
unpopular Bill Belichick. Right? Everyone hates him.
Very successful.
Apparently.
There you go. Not known for his sense of humour. And I'm joined by the Joker of the pack, our very own Rob Ryan. It's Sam Aykroyd.
I'll tell you, I don't quite got the hair yet. It's a bit more.
I was just about to say the one thing you'd love, isn't it, would be the hair.
Oh, I used to have that length hair.
The long flowing locks, did you?
Yeah, back in the day.
Did you? Yeah.
Whatever made you get rid of him?
To get myself together, basically,
Job prospects.
What are they?
No, they kind of grew out of just idleness.
Right. Well, the hair grew out of idleness.
I just didn't want to spend any money on sort of unnecessary things like haircuts and general hygiene. And
Jesus. But you were a catch at college, weren't you?
very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Get it.
Towards the end of those university years, they went away, and a lot of people were very pleased about it.
When you got your serious quiz career on track.
That was it, wasn't
that's
it?
when the locks went, isn't
You
it?
thought, I've got to look the part.
Well, I got to the point I thought, is this going to be Samson's kind of comeuppance? But it didn't happen.
No,
it didn't affect anything about my personality whatsoever.
You sport that
so
hairdo down over in Revolutions, locks on the locks.
Yeah.
Didn't you do that?
What?
Locks on the Deansgate locks with those nice long curly hairs.
Did I have long hair going to Revolution?
On Deansgate locks, yeah. You didn't fit in there.
Not Revolution, but a bar on Deansgate locks, definitely.
Barber.
Ponytailed it up.
Bit of
Punch.
history for you.
There you go, blast from the past.
Bit of Manchester history for you.
Lovely.
Bar on Deansgate locks.
Barber, folks, it was the
With
place
the
to
old,
be in the mid-noughties.
You what?
Mid-noughties. No, you got a bingo card with your shooters.
Yeah, you did. You had a slippery nipple, that was popular, wasn't it?
Yeah, all
Slippery
that
nipple.
brain hemorrhage.
Yeah, that's the one with a bit of
Brain hemorrhage will make you ill.
yeah, it was the fucking Tabasco sauce dropped through the middle of it, wasn't it?
Sam, of course, who often has the very opposite of a slippery nipple, with being a runner, he has
Oh,
a
nipple
chafed
chafe,
nipple,
yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, that's on Sunday. Look forward
Is that a
to
good
it.
shot as well? Sorry, Sam.
Shake the nipple,
glass.
aren't
Are you doing the Liverpool half marathon, are you, Sam?
No, he's doing the
That's right.
Manchester half marathon.
That's been in gone, Liverpool. Sunday just gone, mate.
Oh, was it?
Manchester one's coming up.
This Sunday.
Up and down Mancunian Way.
Can you take the camera down so our listeners and now our viewers can see Sam and his family?
Well, yeah, as a viewer, imagine this big yellow blob
Imagine this fella.
covering 13 miles in approximately 2 hours.
Wow. Just because you're in Cardiff,
I'm in
pretending to be
Cardiff.
busy doesn't mean I'm not doing anything on Sunday. I'm really working this nonsense.
He's making me some bacon butties for it.
You can walk run past like grabbing a can off one side and a bacon butty off the other as you go across the
If I'm not
line.
getting a free bacon butty off you, I'm going to kick off. By kick off, I mean put one of your chairs through one of your windows.
I'm sure it'll be a great.
You have no energy to do that by the end of it, will you?
Sure, it'll be a great run, Sam, and we're hoping to have a great run on our podcast here this evening or whenever you're listening to it, folks.
Pretty smart.
We open as ever with a bit of a news roundup, and our
There's no news now. We've had
there is
we've had
news. There's big
the draft.
news.
We've had
No.
Whatever it's called, the transfer window.
The transfer window. The
Yeah, but the
off-season
equivalent
free
of
agency.
Free agency.
periods,
We've
yeah.
had free agency.
Yeah.
We've had the draft. There's
Right.
no news left until August.
So should we just go to sleep for 3 months?
Well,
You'd
that's
like
kind
that.
of what we're doing now.
Hey, listen, we are not doing
that all
anything
year.
but that. We are giving it loads this off-season, folks.
So there is some news, is what you're
There is news. There is also a feature that we are going to...
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to extend this feature over on X2 podcasts. We're basically going to ask... Well, it's asking about the lay of the land, isn't it, Si? About where do we stand right now in the AFC and the NFC. We're going to start with the NFC on
One
this
big
podcast.
question.
One big question arising from the free agency and the draft. So your questions, boys, need to be framed within those parameters.
Oh, that's a shame.
To an extent.
To an extent. Sam Clay's going to freestyle.
As I understood it, was what big question is most overhanging.
The organisation.
What's the elephant in the
Right.
the elephant in the room effectively?
Right.
That's what we're
The
talking
post-draft
Yeah, I like that,
free
yeah.
agency elephant in the room. That's what
Everyone's
we're
got
looking
one.
at. Well, they do. Some have several.
Well, yeah,
In life in general.
yeah,
Sam,
some
you
are
know.
bigger rooms than others
Yeah,
as well.
this is bigger elephants than others. In fairness, yeah. So we look forward to that. Let's start though. Let's get stuck in with some news then, chaps. To start us off, my boy, CJ Anderson.
See the running back or the wide receiver?
CJ Anderson is the bulldozer running back who
Had he been released before last podcast or not? I don't know.
I don't think he had.
Okay.
I don't think he had.
Bundle that all in then.
But he has been released by the Denver Broncos. They've decided to go in another direction. And he was picked up straight away, or well, maybe not straight away, but not long after, by the Carolina Panthers, who interestingly have been looking for a sort of a bit more of a bell cow running back, weren't they? Christian McCaffrey didn't run too well between the tackles last year. Very, very efficient in the passing game. As we know, you've got in effect a slot receiver playing at running back. I think this is a good move for the Panthers side. I'm interested to see what you think on this, because CJ Anderson will get you those hard yards that perhaps McCaffrey struggled to get last season, and with the Panthers letting Jonathan Stewart go, there was a role to be filled there. CJ Anderson, surely an upgrade on Cameron Artis-Payne or whoever else.
Fozzie Whittaker went to hit
Cameron
IR.
Artis-Payne.
Now there's one
The
for you.
artist formerly known as
Cameron,
Payne.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that's exactly. I think you nailed it on the head, mate. CJ comes into running side, doesn't he? Not necessarily all the time. I don't think they're giving up the idea that Christian McCaffrey can do it all, because he can do most of it. We know he can run outside. We know he can be proficient.
You need someone to take a few of those running yards off of your number one, maybe.
You do. Well, in Carolina's case, quite literally the number one.
Yeah.
Because Cam Newton gets himself a few
Exactly.
million yards as well.
Cam Newton's got to share that workload with someone, so he might as well be Anderson like that.
Well, this is interesting because we've got a news out list here and we've missed off one big one, but it quite ties in quite nicely. Talking about running backs, you might need some help. Obviously, I agree. I think C.J. Anderson's a great fit in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He might also could have been used in New Orleans, considering how our friend, our boy, Alabama, New Orleans,
This is-
the light of Sam's life,
Yeah.
Marky Ingram,
Mark Ingram.
suspended for 4 games for PED abuse.
Well, it's interesting you mention that,
Very
Sam, because
unfortunate.
we could come back to this conversation when I ask my question about the Saints.
all right, we'll leave it. Yeah.
But you know, on the subject of running backs, yeah. Where do we think, Si? Where do we think we stand on this one? You happy with CJ Anderson?
Yeah, no, like
Carolina?
it's as simple as that is. They need that running cowbell. I just don't know what cowbell option means.
Cowbell. Wouldn't be much use as a cowbell.
Cowbell, bell
running
cow,
Someone to do the dirty work.
Yeah,
Well, he carries the water.
Yeah.
whatever.
Charge
It's
it
like
into
me
the-
on this podcast, you
Yeah.
know.
But everyone
You
needs
said
that
you a bit too
role.
quick there, didn't you?
Yeah, so Johnny Stewart's on his way out, whatever. You know, the Panthers need that role.
No one's ever
Cam
referred to
Newton,
as Johnny Stewart before, have they?
J. Stew.
Camathy Newton can't do it.
Camathy. Yeah.
Camathy's extended him out. But he needs that option, even though he using very much. At least so defences think, oh well,
Yeah.
I need to keep an eye on him at least.
And that's it, isn't it?
And that's all it is.
What do we
And
know
it's
about-
perfectly adequate. It's not going to.
Yeah.
He's not going to set the legal light,
Yeah.
but he's not going to harm the team in any way.
No, he has something. He has something to pass.
He does have something, doesn't he? And I've always been a big fan.
But it
of
can be
his.
it'll probably be a very unremarkable statistically season for him.
Well,
At the
quite
same
possibly.
time, it'll be it's almost what he doesn't do.
Yeah, sure. And as you say, that we know that running quarterbacks are only enhanced by having a solid running back there with them. So I can't see that hurting.
But it's another question mark when defenders get that when they get snapped to Cam Newton. Defenders have got another thing to think about.
That's it. Yeah, totally. Okay, so we think that'll work out quite nicely for Carolina. Let's wait till we are proven wrong. Let's talk about a couple of releases now, shall we? First off, we suspected this one's been coming. He didn't really last long, did he? In New York, did Brandon Marshall? I remember watching.
Has he got numbers after his name? I feel like he should do.
He does, doesn't he? I think he does have numbers after his name, but we're not going to go down that road again because we were battling that last week. So we're going to fly through that, and we're going to talk about Brandon Marshall being released by the New York Giants. He got injured after about the fourth game of the season. It was that game, wasn't it, where Shepard went down, Marshall went down, Beckham had been ruled out. But I remember watching last season, I think the second game of the season it was, Monday Night Football, playing the Detroit Lions, and Eli threw it right at him, and time again he was dropping the ball. He looked a little bit done. Do we think this is confirmation of that sight?
Well, interestingly, he's had a visit with the Seahawks, but yeah, I'd say he's pretty much finished. It was only a matter of time, certainly before he got released by the Giants. He was regressing at the Jets, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's why he was out of there.
He had that good first season.
Yeah, he did.
But then he couldn't follow it up really.
And then it continued as he switched allegiances, and he certainly was no asset to Eli Manning at the end of the day. They're rolling on now with OBJ, with Evan Ingram, with Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
Now with Saquon as well. I think. If he just managed to tack on somewhere else, it'd be interesting. He's never made the playoffs.
Does he not?
Brandon Marshall's never made the playoffs, and he has been a divisive figure in different locker rooms. I just think it's a surprise that if he does go anywhere else, really, because he's got a bit of media interest in New York, and I think he could possibly move into that kind of market now.
What I do like about Brandon Marshall is that he has, throughout his career, raised awareness about mental health issues, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Is he bipolar or he
No, something similar.
borderline personality?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he didn't know he had it at first, and he couldn't understand it, and obviously everyone just thought it was a basket case and couldn't be controlled. And once he got on top of it, and once a lot of teammates, especially in Miami, knew where he was coming from, Chicago as well, with Jay Cutler in Chicago.
Yeah, him and Cutler seemed to get on, didn't they?
He used to flip off the lid, but the coaches knew what it was like, and they go to him and said, "Look, I know you're frustrated with this, and this," and he was like, "I'm sorry, let's go get it, and it'll be better." And it took him a while to be like that. But yeah, it's just another. Everyone's different in the NFL. It's very different.
Yeah.
The NFL wants to pigeonhole everyone, don't they? They want everyone to be a robot to some extent.
Yeah.
And Brandon Marshall's managed to find his own way.
Yeah, he has, and just credit to anyone who can put their head above the parapet and talk about issues like that, which Sam, in that kind of macho where it was that seen as being a weakness.
That's new to me in terms about Brandon Marshall, but yeah, anyone who's taken on that role is creditable. Because, the downsides in doing so tend to outweigh the positives. It's very hard. It's difficult to know.
And he was, I think, I was watching. He's got a football life, hasn't he, Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
I was having a watch of it, and
last few years.
Yeah. And they were talking about at one point when in his first season or two in Chicago, statistically he was right up there with the best players.
Talent-wise, one of the best wide receivers in the league.
There we go. I hope he finds somewhere. I really do, but I don't know. Suspect that it won't be the case. One person that we're fairly sure won't be the case that he's coming back is Cliff Averill, who was Averill Levine, who was released by the Seahawks and expected to retire. And I guess just one last piece of that defense just being taken away.
Got a smile on his face when he says that.
Hey, well, all good things must come to an end, and the changing of the guard in the NFC West continues. It's a big loss, isn't it, Sam?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean,
Right.
I think they've been playing with it out for a while. He's had a bad neck injury that we were never sure he was going to come back from anyway. Apparently doctors have cleared him, but team's quite reticent. I know he's still holding out hope about playing again. Interestingly, Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett, two very big pieces on that Super Bowl winning team, signed on the same day for the Seahawks.
He came from the Lions, didn't he?
He came from the Lions, he wasn't getting paid there, and he got paid at the Seahawks. But even then, still a cheap deal.
Yeah.
Same with Bennett as well, really cheap deals that those guys signed in terms of, and far outweighed it with the production. I think they're going to miss him in the locker room a lot more, because that's another veteran head out the door.
And he seemed to be a man of Seattle, didn't he? He made himself a part of that community.
Big time worker in the charity in the region and things like that. He says that's his home now, and if he doesn't get a gig in another team, he's already signed up for some kind of radio show as an analyst, which I think's a nice touch. I think just shows.
These guys ever just move straight into coaching? First thing when you said
some of them do, yeah.
Just like literally from being a player of standing in the dressing room to you're a coach now.
Yeah, not necessarily straight into a high spot. Sometimes they'll go
Steven Gerrard style.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking in terms of like soccer with the
cutting corners.
Stories all coming out now in soccer this time of year every time. But certain players are like, they're just sort of moving up the ladder, as it were. Not it's a ladder, but
the next stage is
moving through to that bit. So is that a familiar path in there?
A lot of players do turn to coaches, but it's never really. You know, like in football, where you get the odd one who'll just jump into a big role straight away. You think, what's that about? Like Gerrard, I suppose.
Yeah.
Players even of lesser repute in football who've done the same thing don't find that so much in the NFL.
No,
you have to work their way up. Like Byron Leftwich is really being touted by Bruce Arians and others as kind of a guy who's going to be a head coach one day. But he's starting to earn it.
But even in terms of like just a low level coach where you just
they go into coaching,
about the same team where you just rather than we're not going to renew your contracts as a player, but if you want to do it as a coach, please stay.
Maybe, I don't know what they are. I couldn't tell you what that stats about whether or not they sign for the same team or not. But the point still stands that some players do go on to be coaches.
Do they need coaching badges in the NFL?
No, I don't think so.
Coaching badges, don't make me laugh. I went on a course once. Got my coaching badge. Got my level
You're
1.
ready for B coach?
Got me level 1 FA.
Is this your pitch to take over from Big Sam, who may or may not be leaving tomorrow? We don't know.
I'll be as qualified as anyone the way it's going. Yeah, we're celebrating that news as well, folks. Big Sam is on his way. Christian Kirk arrested in February for disorderly conduct. It has come out. Arizona Cardinals wide receiver taken in the second round. What do we think about this one?
Do you know anything about this one, Sam?
I know nothing about this one.
Well, I'll take it over then. He was pretty much pissed as a fart. Back in February, and arrested for throwing rocks at cars during the players' TPC at Sawgrass. Sorry, it's not Sawgrass, Scottsdale rather. He's from Scottsdale in Arizona, so when he got drafted by the Cardinals, he basically was drafted by his hometown team.
Oh, nice.
It turns out the Cardinals know a bit about this. They're aware of the incident prior to drafting him. They're waiting to see how he plays out before making any comment. Bit of a inauspicious start for a guy who they're relying on. Really, it's pretty much how it is. It's a great mugshot, as there always is of him, just looking absolutely wasted.
Will it mean anything?
Probably not. If they already knew about it, probably not.
No. It's not like your man. Who was the guy in the Cardinals who got stoned and then jumped out of a window?
Robin Condice.
Condice. Yeah.
That's also excusable.
Depends who's underneath when you land.
Throwing rocks at cars isn't excusable, though, is it?
Well, it depends.
It's better than some things, don't get me wrong.
There's a lot of variables in this. How big are the rocks?
Apparently, there's
How far away from the cars is he?
Apparently, he smashed at least one window, of which a guy was sat in the car, hiding below the window line, scared, and he was one of the witnesses who saw him do it to other cars as well.
Well, I don't know the details.
Yeah, soft lad.
Well, it's no C. Kelly, is it? For example, he's found not guilty, wasn't he? But there's more terrible crimes committed by NFL footballers. It sounds like a bit of light-hearted shenanigans gone wrong.
Not that we condone throwing rocks at kids.
No, of course not.
No.
There is more serious news, I suppose.
I did it with the water balloon once, and that got me in trouble.
I did it with an egg once. That got me in trouble.
Didn't cost me any money though, which I think it's going to cost Christian Kirk some coins.
Cost them a few there. There's another piece of news that's come out, and again, we were sort of limited in what we can say here. I guess it's now an ongoing legal investigation.
It's not ongoing legally, but it's ongoing in terms of finding out what exactly happened back in the day.
Matt Patricia indicted back in 1996 on a charge of aggravated sexual assault. It has resurfaced again not long after, of course, Patricia was named as the head coach of the Detroit Lions. I mean, two things that we can say. In Patricia's statement, he denied it ever happened and has talked about it as being some kind of vindictive attack on him and the team that he's been brought back up, 2 decades on. The Detroit Lions haven't hesitated to back him instantly. We don't know what happens, we don't know the ins and outs of the stories, but fairly strong statements of support coming from Detroit for their guy.
Yeah, they weren't aware of it when they hired him, but they've gone through it with him and found, and that's how they've come down it really. I suppose cynics would say that what other way could they come down without starting from scratch? A really, unopportunistic moment in the season to do so. But yeah, I mean, it's something that happened 22 years ago, got dropped as a living raise now. He has come out and answered every single question thrown his way regarding it. But on the other hand, since the disclosure, because also, by the way, only indicted, never charged.
Because that was my question, was going to be, would this not fall into some sort of double jeopardy kind of scenario?
He's not going to get charged again.
If he's never been sentenced to trial, it's only double jeopardy.
No, but there's no similar.
The prosecution thought there was never enough evidence to get a conviction.
Yeah.
So that was what it was. But since the disclosure, it's been revealed that this prosecution, we're going to call 5 witnesses to the stand in regards to the incident. Obviously, that sounds a lot bad. It sounds like there were 5 witnesses to the incident.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, does it? It means that they were going to call 5 witnesses to
The other thing about stuff like
corroborate
this is
or otherwise evidence.
1996 is a very different time to 2018 in terms of crimes of this nature. And I think they're viewed publicly in very different ways in terms of what you've got in terms of burden of guilt, which obviously doesn't change the outcome in terms of public opinion does, and probably quite rightly so. But yeah, when you say it didn't quite have enough to go to trial.
What you're saying is if it happened today, we'd take it a lot more seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Is what you're trying to say, and that might be the case. It does not mean one way or another whether or not Matt Patricia is guilty or not. Which is,
it'd probably be just a constant muddy thumping on his career, with how it wind up, and whether it should be more or less than that.
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
I get a funny feeling this is to be continued, don't you?
It is a TBC. Absolutely not ideal timing for the Lions, but then I'm sure if the charges are for real, then screw the timing for the victim.
Before we move on to the last thing, we should say that we're recording this quite early.
Yes.
It's going out a bit later than we're recording it, so there might be some news that comes up.
Yes.
In particular into this particular piece of news.
Well, for the record, we are on the 15th of May,
and it's only going to get
just gone 10 to 11,
and it's going to get launched in about a week's time. This
okay, so you folks will be hearing this on or after the 21st.
I'd say next Tuesday.
So let's
just bear that into account when you're talking about the news items and how it may have progressed.
Proper cunts.
Yeah.
Which we might do.
We may well. I think we've covered ourselves. I think we've been as fair as possible on that one. You decide, listeners. But not.
Did you just use the C word again?
He did, didn't he? Just
slipped
it in.
the right terms. Oh, so I thought we were okay with it.
What, being past the watershed?
No, we got past with the Rolls Royce and let's see where.
Oh yeah, is he?
Fine,
He's a ping pong table.
He's not said anything. So I think we got away with it.
He's disgusted.
Yeah. I think he was actually out putting a fire. He's putting a fire out that night.
Good luck to he's a hero.
He is a hero. He's my local hero. And we're going to finish off the news staying in the courtroom. the legalising of sports betting across the states, across all
Take it away,
states.
Sam.
This is Sam's fit legal and law and courtroom stuff.
Don't, because I don't know that much about UK law, let alone US law.
Right.
But the Supreme Court in the US has basically said it's down to individual states now as to their legal stance on betting on sporting events specifically. So, what would constitute not non-sporting events.
And what can you bet on
Well,
as well?
putting screws down your trousers, how long can you ferrets down your trousers?
Bet on political outcomes like elections and stuff.
Political betting as well, which is not allowed in the US, but obviously other countries do.
It is allowed in the US, it's non-sports betting, so.
No, it's not, you can't bet on.
So there's certain
So what the
things.
hell can you bet? When you say, oh, you can bet on, you're allowed to bet on sports events now, what other things can you bet on?
Nothing, basically, outside of Vegas, nothing. It's because they've got the very strict. Anyway,
So it's betting, basically, what it's saying.
sports betting.
Betting's allowed now.
But you can't bet on Trump getting re-elected. That's still not
No one would want to.
well, no, for or against. But,
Don't pretend we're politically neutral on this podcast, as you were.
it's not a point. Wait.
You're doing very well here, Sam. Keep it going.
Go on,
So-
Sam. Go on.
So now sports betting, which is previously just basically Vegas and maybe Atlantic City, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is now any state can decide to take it up, which huge revenue for each particular state and huge revenue for the NFL in theory. It's a big, it should be a massive money earning for them.
There's money
And
to be
apparently falling face of TV revenue is dropping obviously.
Yeah.
Because people get other ways.
Yeah.
And they don't quite know how to monetize those ways yet.
Yeah.
So they'll work that out.
They will, I'm sure. Yeah.
But much as it is for the Premier League, all that cash can get off people listening to Ray Winston's tips on who to bet on at half time is coming your way, America. I don't know who the equivalent will be. I'm sure Samuel
Rob Lowe.
The
Rob
American
Lowe.
equivalent of
I imagine.
Yeah,
in
Rob
Atlanta,
Lowe's a good call.
imagine if you're watching TV in Atlanta at half time, Samuel L. Jackson's going to come on
Yeah.
and implore you
Yeah.
to put money.
Yeah, it'd be
on,
someone. It'd be someone who's in
Julio
sports.
Jones
Kiefer
getting the
Sutherland.
next catch.
I know he's
Kiefer
Canadian.
Sutherland, no, Kiefer's a bit, he's a bit of a lad.
Speaking of monetising, we've been monetised. Have you heard about this?
Go on.
Yeah, I was. Our.
Who's we?
Us
It's
three.
not
Us
me.
three. We
The
monetised. It's
collapsing
news to
pocket,
me.
CPP.
Pay rise.
Has been monetised by
Oh.
EMI in that we play the Eels. Mr. East Beautiful
We
Blues
do.
are way out of our
Great
podcast,
song.
which we've got away for for a long
And
time.
they caught us.
And we put it on YouTube, and within the first time we put it on YouTube, they monetised us. They've allowed us to use it for free. They say
Have they?
they may put an advert on our podcast once. Once in a while.
Oh, bless
That, by
you.
the way, is why, on a side note, why people really go after Spotify, but not YouTube, because YouTube know how to get money out of people real quick, Spotify,
It's like a little Lord Sugar in the corner, and he knows his way around the business table.
Nobody's two pennies together.
Fantastic. Now that.
and this leads in, doesn't it, Mark?
You could see when I do that with the pen, you know that I'm
This
going
is-
for the
it's a
big.
segue, it's a segue.
That's his moment to cut you out,
It's
and
exactly-
run from underneath you,
Exactly.
and destroy the
He
segue.
sees it and he grabs
No,
it.
this is a super segue.
It's a
It would have been.
It would have been.
Alright, sorry. start
It's
again.
now just a kind of okay segue, but we're gonna go for it regardless.
So we're going into our segment. We're into
Motto of my life, innit? Carry on regardless.
We're into our segment now, aren't we?
We're into our segment, Sam, which is around the NFC. One big question that has arisen from the draft and free agency.
The big question, the elephant in the room, we all need to think about.
But the legalisation of sport, if that's even a word, the legalisation of sports betting feeds nicely, I believe, into Sam's first question to us about the Carolina Panthers.
That's the one.
Sam, explain why it
That was
feeds
convoluted,
nicely.
wasn't it?
We got there. Go on, Sam. Keep the ball up in the
No, I
air.
need to take a breath now.
Okay.
Well, basically, the Panthers have got almost certainly, will have come by the time anyone's listening to this,
Well, that's a nice
but not
way, yes.
quite by the time we recorded it. We'll have a new owner in the name of David Tepper.
David Tepper, not David Tennant.
No, he's a former Doctor Who.
He is. I was going to put 2 minutes on the clock per
2 minutes.
team as a rough guide.
But yeah, so this is the ownership of the Panthers has been up in the air for a while.
It has.
And it's going to remain a big question over their heads, even when the new guy is officially confirmed, presumably in the next 6 days before we release this. Will be David Tepper the 10th richest hedge fund manager in the world, apparently, something like that. It's worth around 11 billion. He's going to be paying around 2.2 billion to get his hand on the Panthers, and obviously that 2.2 billion looks a lot more financially viable on the back of the revenues that may or may not open after legalised betting. But this is the question for the Panthers now: is what impact he's going to have on the team. And I find it interesting in terms of what impacts the owners have on the teams generally, actually, in the NFL.
It's a fair question because I don't think in my time of following the NFL, unless an owner has died, I've seen a transition in ownership. And they often say, don't they, that a team is as good as its owner and its owner's attitude, and the way they treat the team, the way they go about their business. That's a good question, Sam. I don't know a lot about how changing ownerships have affected teams in the past.
All right, well, you're wrong, Wardy, because you've seen the Pegulas by the Buffalo Bills.
Sorry, that is true. That is true. I have seen that.
And there was what, 3 or 4 years ago, and they paid $1 billion less.
And it turned the Bills into an absolute
playoff team. Well done. So, without being smart, it might be a culture change. The answer to your question is, Sam, is what effect will an ownership change have on a football team? The answer is, if they're smart, none.
Yeah.
And if they're not, a lot. So if you've got people who like to interfere, like Jerry Jones, like Dan Snyder, you can set your franchise back decades. You really can. If they really want to get involved with it, start changing things. But the truth is...
Well, if he's a smart football man, for example, if he's just... then they could set them forwards decades.
That's true. That's true too. Like if you look at the best owners, say like someone like Robert Kraft, he admits it took him 7-8 years to really understand how to run a football team. If you look at this guy David Tepper, he's
already has 5% in
minority owner in the Steelers because it's his hometown team, so he knows football already.
Yeah.
He might hit the ground running. It might be a great appointment.
And I mean, for me, I'll
he's probably not going to impact this season too much, is he?
I think for me, this season,
I don't think you're going to see one big fat impact bang. I don't think that's how it's going to work.
I'm more interested personally for this season, the transition within the team, not so much in the head office, but they brought in North Turner. Which is quite...
Is that what would that have been your question, mate?
Well, no, not at all. No. Just as a way of sort of looking at this Panthers team. DJ Moore's come in. They brought in North Turner, adding CJ Anderson. It's quite an interesting transition in terms of philosophy, perhaps there in Carolina.
I can't help but feel that it would have been better if P Diddy had bought him because he said that he would sign Colin Kaepernick.
That is true. That is true.
I don't think he's got $11.4 billion. So there you go.
Let's stick in
2.2.
You are.
Yeah, but if you've got 11.4, you've got to comfortably be able to afford it.
Let's stick in the NFC South. I'll take this one if that's okay, folks. I will. We're going to go division by division now, aren't we? So we're in the NFC South.
This pass round.
Sam started as the NFC South. I'm going to stick in the NFC South, and I'm going to go to Sam's team, Sam's boys, the New Orleans Saints. Now we touched on it earlier in the show. Mark Ingram has been suspended for the first 4 games of the season. Bearing that in mind. And we know that in the draft, the Saints, very much thinking they are in win-now mode, they gave up a lot to move up and grab Davenport. Are the Saints truly that close to winning a Super Bowl that they can afford to give up what they gave for Davenport?
No.
Are they genuinely a win-now team?
My question for the Saints would be, by how many points are you going to win
the Super Bowl? Okay,
and
well that answers the question, Sam. You think they are? Yeah.
20 or more. I don't know.
So Davenport is the missing piece in the puzzle that's taking this team to the Super Bowl.
I think just looks going to finally come our ways, and it would have been a bit unlucky for the last 10 years or so. So it's going to swing round.
Didn't you win a Super Bowl in the last 10 years? They weren't too unlucky there.
I would say it's more than 10 years ago.
No. To answer your question seriously, mate, no, they're not in a position to waste draft capital on one player, because I don't even think they're going to win the NFC South this year.
Interesting. Falcons?
Yeah, I think the Falcons will win. I think. And we'll get to that. I've got 2.
It could be any of the It's the toughest division in football by a long way. It's an expensive price for that player.
It is.
And it'll be interesting to see how he copes with that pressure. That's going to suddenly, that puts on not just him actually, on coaching staff and everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with that running back tandem, with
And not such a tandem for the first four games.
Not so much for the first four. Maybe they should bring in Peterson again for the first four games.
Imagine missing one of your key players for four games at the start of the season for whether it's PEDs or not inflating your footballs properly or whatever, and still going on to win things.
I can imagine it for the Patriots. Yeah, very easily imagine it.
Because even if you've got you've still got Brady.
Wow,
bastard!
Your man,
you've done that to me. You've still got Breeze and Thomas. So you've still got one of the best secondaries in the league, etc. So there's no reason why we can't just ride out that.
I'll throw this scenario out there. Mark Ingram.
So long term for the Saints, I think it's an issue for this season. There's no reason why they can't, why they aren't a Super Bowl worthy worthy mentions.
Yeah, fair. Mark Ingram goes down after the first four games. They slot in Alvin Kamara to be a bit more of a workhorse running back. He's not suited to that. His body type's not suited to that. He goes down injured in the first four games. Where are the Saints then?
Well, I don't think they'll do that to him. So.
No, I think you're right. I think they'll find someone else to come in and do the.
They'll find some other donkey.
Well, they'll need to find their equivalent to CJ Anderson for 4 games, won't they? But we will see. Anyway, let's move on to the Atlanta Falcons.
Alright, we'll do Atlanta Falcons if you're calling the shots. Here we go. I don't know, considering this ball club was the team that took the Philadelphia Eagles close in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Doing everything but damn well beating them.
Yeah.
I think the Atlanta Falcons seem to fly under the radar a little bit when people like us discuss the loaded roster in the NFC, because let's face it, the NFC is fucking loaded.
Loaded.
Ridiculous. And this is during a year when they replaced one of the greatest offensive minds in football in Kyle Shanahan with Steve Sarkisian. Everyone was on his back. He didn't. He had to hit the ground running. Let's face it, he didn't. Yet still one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
So you give him another year. They're stacked on both sides of the ball. You've got Matt Ryan balling out. He's just been given a contract. He's the first player to make $30 million a year, $150 million over 5 years.
That's bad news.
You've got the defense finally playing as Dan Quinn wants them. I appreciate, as you say, Sam, they're in the toughest division in the NFL. But is there any team in the NFL being slept on more than the Atlanta Falcons this offseason? Tell me another team that.
I don't think so. They're kind of so underrated. They're overrated a little bit. The Falcons.
How'd you work that one out?
I don't even know what that means.
Because everyone's like, I want to sleep on him.
But that's the first time I've ever heard that comment.
No,
I thought I was unique saying that.
I tend to agree with you, Si. I think they are completely.
Well, I don't know. The power rankings are what the Saints.
Which I think is just.
That's my problem. I don't look at power rankings. I think they're stupid.
Well, most.
Hey, that's crucial research to ask, Sam.
Most of them have the Falcons above the Saints.
Do they?
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, because they push so close. They've got. They've added to their offensive weaponry in the drafts.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, I think, should have an impact this year.
Should have. They're going to dominate. I don't see a team that's that good that people just don't really seem to mention. You think of the NFC, you think of the Saints, you think of the Vikings, you think of the Rams. They're your first 3 go-to teams. The Eagles are going to be in the mix again. And then everyone starts scrambling around thinking about the Packers.
I'd say the other 2 teams in the NFC, the NFC South, the teams that have been slept on. In fact, the Panthers and the Buccaneers, everyone thinks they just might be slightly behind. But there's no reason why they should be, realistically.
I've got two quick thoughts on that. Matt Ryan has always performed better in the second season with the new offensive coordinator, hasn't he? I think Shanahan came in first season getting his bearings, second season league MVP.
Lights out.
Sarkisian second season. I don't doubt Sarkisian. I certainly don't. He got criticism last year, but that's because he was playing a different offence to Shanahan.
Nobody wants to be the guy who follows the guy.
Exactly, and that's not to say it's necessarily a less effective offence. It may not have the glamorous numbers. And
he's not David Moyes, is what we're saying.
He's not David Moyes, is what we're saying. So look out for that one. And also, there's an argument that over the past sort of year, there's no greater improvement on one unit than the Falcons' defence. As you say, Dan Quinn, the creator of the Legion of Boom, that is one of the fastest defences. They are so quick.
They're great. They're phenomenal, and I think there is other defences doing a similar thing. The Saints being one of them, turning around very quickly.
Certainly. The Chargers, in fairness, as well.
But these guys are all getting the limelight, and the Falcons People just don't seem to be talking about them outside of these power rankings that you guys talk about. That's what I'm saying.
Fair comments. Let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No
Who's on
problem,
this
mate.
one?
That's me.
You again.
Yeah, well done for organising that. So in the NFC South, I think we're all in
Big question
agreement.
for them is what they were thinking with that parrot.
Yeah, that's a big question. Again, the toughest division in football right now. Let's face it, the Buccaneers were the one team that let it down last year. But kickers aside, it wasn't Jason Light's fault. GM, was it? It wasn't his fault.
No.
He's built a pretty solid roster, and then this off-season, he's filled every single hole that I can see.
Yeah.
One way or another, he's got the fearsome front seven now. He's added JPP, he's added Vinnie Curry, and then he got Vita Vea in the draft. And then went in the draft in particular, the secondary got properly attended to. They drafted Ronald Jones to kickstart the running game, and now that the muscle hamster's out the door. There's one biggest weakness in this team.
Jones is a great pick.
It's such
Ronald Jones, great
the whole
pick.
team, they've done very well in front of us. The biggest weakness in this team is the head coach, Dirk Cutter, and his inability to maximise or inspire Jameis Winston to better play. My question is, in what week will Cutter be kicked to the curb?
I think he'll be the
Thanksgiving
first.
week.
I think he'll be the first gone.
No one's going before that.
Completely agree. I think.
But at the same time, the players might just carry him through. The way he might be not much of a coach, but the quality of that roster
No
might just
chance,
carry
mate.
him
He's
through
getting
anyway.
fired.
If they were in a different division, I think he might get away with it a bit more because they would be more.
But he's got 6 tough
competitive.
games.
He's got 6 tough games. I see the Bucs as they could be an 8-18.
If they had a good coach like Arians, who we'll get to later, who managed to get the Cardinals to 8-8 last year somehow with a
remarkable,
atrociously depleted roster. They'd be a team to be reckoned with, but they don't. They have possibly the worst head coach in the NFL.
Can you to quote Cam Newton, can you overcome coaching? Can that team? I mean, look at what the Titans did last year. Do you remember there was a lot of talk about
under Malarkey?
They were saying we want Mariota calling the plays, and eventually in the playoff run the team went more down that direction. Is there a way of, as you say, they are so stacked now in so many parts of the game? Will there come a point where this team goes, do you know what, we're going to take over this a little bit?
There might be. I don't know if that would save his. This is what I was suggesting there, that the team might just carry him through, but at the same time, that might not save his job equally. I mean, if it's very clear to the ownership, whatever, that the players are doing the coach's job for him, it's like, well, why am I paying this coach anymore?
Is it not a thankless task in many ways? Because you're going to have to make the playoffs. You could argue to save your job. It's going to be very hard to make the playoffs in that division.
The way I see it is that the guy's getting sacked if he is 2 games under 500 at any point in the season after week 5. So to me, by Thanksgiving he's sacked. If the players do what you say, Sam, and kind of play above themselves and keep him in a job, he's sacked at the end of the season.
Fantastic. Let's move on to the NFC West, and I will start us off. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll start us off with the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, so here's what I've got. If the addition of Brandon Cooks is an upgrade on Sammy Watkins,
which it is,
to an already red-hot offense, and the additions of Super Bowl winner and Pro Bowler Aqib Talib and top shutdown corner Marcus Peters, with Aaron Donald signing a new deal and being joined by Ndamukong Suh, who I know I've criticised his attitude at times, an effort for Miami, but in no way would doubt the talent.
I'll have a question this round.
What is the argument against the Rams having the best roster in the NFL?
Roster or defense?
Roster.
Starting 11 or roster?
Roster. What is the argument against the Rams having the best roster?
That's the equivalent of you calling him. What did you say on that podcast?
What did he call me?
I can't remember now.
He calls me all kinds.
Fuck. That's your equivalent, that.
Yeah.
You've been plugging away at that roster squad thing for him.
Chipping away at it, isn't he? Yeah.
For those who don't know, Wardy is a big Evertonian, and he did say before this season began that Everton may not have the best starting 11 in the league, but they've got the best squad.
I think I said outside of City, you name a better squad.
You initially said the best squad, and then you rolled it back to outside of Manchester.
Yeah,
And then you stood by it to at least Christmas, and possibly still now.
Well, listen, we're all wise after the event, Sam, is the first thing I'll say. So well done on that. Hey, listen, bit of passion, bit of heart, bit of belief in your team kills you. So don't.
A team pound for pound, roster-wise, better than the Rams? It's a good question. I think the only one that springs to mind straight away is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and I've got, in the conversation, Vikings, Eagles.
Yeah, maybe the Eagles.
But
and our friends in Boston, surely.
I mean,
No,
no,
looking at
no,
roster,
no,
but that's the case every year with the Patriots.
yeah, of course, yeah.
I think the Vikings, obviously, they were stability at quarterback away from being the best roster in the NFL last year, and now they have that. Obviously, the Rams have made even further gains somehow on a team that played lights out last year.
Would you take the Rams O-line over the Vikings O-line? Because
no, I don't think I would.
Okay.
I think, Andrew, if I took the best one of
Whitworth
each one,
is the best
Whitworth's the
O-line.
best out of both teams. But I think in terms of a unit, nobody got a better performance out of a shoddy unit than the Vikings did last year. I think, funnily enough, if I think the Rams played the Vikings, I think the Rams would win.
Yeah.
But in terms of, if you're asking me on paper, who's got the best roster, I'd probably
You go
still
Vikings.
pick the Vikings.
Fair
I don't know
enough.
about you.
Sam? He's looking around desperately.
He's looking for a name.
Trying to find a list of squads.
New York Jets.
Ha!
Vikings don't really have a big name quarterback. So.
You don't have a big name anybody in the Vikings.
They don't have a quality quarterback.
So you're going to say that the Rams is the best?
I'm just going to ignore that one.
Yeah, why not?
Thank you, there we go. Surely we're not agreeing, are we, Sam?
He's like a politician, he doesn't answer the question you ask him, does he?
No, he never does. Never has. But
I think probably Rams do have the best player for player.
yeah.
Pound for pound, that's the phrase we use, isn't it?
But I am happy to answer some questions on the Arizona Cardinals. So,
Pick up my papers again then.
go.
Let's see
There
what
you
they
go.
say.
Well, it doesn't matter what order we go in.
Alright, okay, Arizona, interesting team, isn't it? The winds ran dry really in desert over the last couple of years. Aging roster, decimated by injury and retirement. Obviously, as we just discussed, one of the greatest head coaches in the game stepping away. It's going to cost them a couple of wins, surely. Bruce Arians coached his ass off last year. To quote my man Wardy a few podcasts ago.
It's going to cost them a couple of seasons. Oh, sorry.
So you're in agreement that Arians was like this ethereal head coach, just unbelievable. They released Tyrann Mathieu.
What were you going to quote me on?
You said the words. Bruce Arians coached his ass off.
He coached his ass off.
Last season.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit doom and gloom, but they've got some things to look forward to. New head coach, who people talk glowingly about, is Steve Wilkes. They've replaced one underwhelming quarterback last year, let's be honest, with two pretty good ones, even if Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen may be just as injury prone as Carson Wentz was.
Carson Palmer.
Sorry, Carson Palmer, sorry.
It's okay.
Not to mention, obviously, the old dog Larry Fitz is still about.
Still doing it. Still doing it. Do you know he was like the 4th ranked receiver?
He can definitely play, there's no question about it. The Arizona Cardinals are one of the hardest teams in the NFL right now to get a beat on.
Yeah.
Are they going to be better or worse football team than last year? They were 8-8 last year somehow. Are they going to be better or worse?
I don't. Are they going to crack par?
It's weird to say that, because I'm so impressed that they got 8 wins last year. I'm so impressed.
I mean, if you're looking at stats and numbers, I can't see them getting 8 wins this year. Does that mean that they are a worse team? Or does it mean that they're in a division where everyone around them has got stronger?
It's almost like you've ever noticed, mate.
Really? Oh, there you go.
I wouldn't disagree with any of that.
I
you're suggesting.
I think. Sorry, Sam. I go back to what I as you know, guys, I like the draft class. I think the Cardinals have done everything that they could do. They should have kept on with the hold of the honey badger. I was a bit surprised by that one. I know it's a cap thing. I know they like Buda Baker. I think outside of that, I think they've done everything they can to, if not make themselves competitive right now, they're at least trying to safeguard their future. They're not going to fade into irrelevance over the next couple of years.
It's not everything double or bust, is it?
Sure.
Guys,
Well, what it shows is the nature of the NFL, in which one or two exceptions we can all think of, where but sustain
success,
or just to sustain you have to either say, oh, we're going to go up and down, or it's going to be mediocre for a long time.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the economy. So it's hard, isn't it? It's peaks and troughs, and the best governments try and flatten that out as much as possible.
Fair. But by flattening out in sports, you just...
Precisely.
8 and 8 every year.
I mean, I've seen it myself, lads, as you know, 5 years ago.
You watch the 7th every year.
My team were in the Super Bowl. And then a couple of years later, I'm watching them win 2 games all year.
And now, bit of optimism.
Exactly, and that's within a
You're a roller coaster team.
It's bizarre, man.
I'm with you. I see a similar level of quality roster-wise, but an even harder division. Now that the 49ers are in the mix, I just think probably slight regression, 7-9, something like that.
I would. That division's going to kill them.
I would agree, but I just see what this head coach they've got. The internal appointment.
Steve Wilkes, who came from the Carolina Panthers.
Ignore what I just said. Completely.
It's the bit you go twat.
Sorry, yeah. Anyway, where are we? San Francisco 49ers. Let's go for them.
49ers.
Smart ass question coming up.
There we go. Oh, you didn't give it to Sam, did you?
I took it.
He snatched it.
He snatched it, didn't he?
I took it.
I know.
My question for the Niners is: can your quarterback, whose name escapes me,
Handsome Jimmy, yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo,
The future Mr. Ward, yeah.
can he deal with the expectation? So he's had
aim high, mate. Dream high.
for seven games he's had, hasn't he, as a quarterback?
6 games. 5 games.
As a quarterback.
For San Francisco.
No, as a fucking zebra.
Oh, sorry.
Like you idiot.
Sorry, how many games has he started in his career? 7, yeah. So.
Start at 7 as a quarterback.
Yeah.
5 as a Patriot. Sorry, 5 as a San
Niner.
Francisco quarterback. So he's a New England Patriots quarterback.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for that, the 2 seasons.
Won all 7 of them.
Yeah.
Every time he's done that, it's kind of been like he's on a free swing at it.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Okay.
There's been no expectation. No, there's been no expectation of his life.
Oh, no expectations.
Okay,
He's beaten some decent teams, I suppose.
Yeah.
But in no time has he come in and say, this season, I think the way everyone's talking about the Niners, not necessarily a playoff team, but certainly a team that winning record at least. Anything less than that will be a huge disappointment for the season. And a whole season for the first time. How is he going to keep with it? How is he going to cope with that expectation now? Now he's suddenly, and everyone's been talking about, oh, he's a real deal. You can just see on those last 5 games last year, 5-0. He's a real deal. He's a real deal. He's the new Brady. He's Brady's replacement. That San Francisco has snatched. That pressure's on him now.
How's he going to cope with the expectations? Is that the question?
How's he going to cope with expectation? How's he going to cope with? He's got less of an excuse from your draft. You've shored him up in the offensive line. You've plenty of weapons for him, realistically. Especially with the greatest offensive-minded football. I think. One of the greatest.
Am I wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's what you called him.
And I would agree.
Yeah. Sean Payne started there with a power.
But all this puts pressure on. So if he doesn't perform in the game, how is he going to react to it? If things start going wrong that aren't necessarily his fault, but he still gets to blame for, the pressure's on him now. It's not been on him ever. This is the first time he's now the focus.
Fair comment.
And that's the issue for San Francisco.
Yeah, fair question. Gut instinct, you ask me honestly, I think he'd cope admirably. I think he's learned from the greatest quarterback ever played the game, under the greatest coach ever played the game. He struck me as cool as a cucumber when he was playing last season. Okay,
with no offensive line.
Pressure, with no offensive line.
With no expectation
I think he's the real deal, and it's an instinct. It's watching him play.
I don't know if he's. I think everything points to him being the real deal. Not necessarily is the case.
Sure.
To answer your question, is it how's he going to cope with that expectation? I literally don't think he will even think about it. I think his play will not be affected by what people expect. I think he's just going to be as good as he is.
And don't the greatest players and the winners out there, they expect expectation.
They want it.
They want the expectation.
They do, but there's no way of telling who those people are, because there's no way of telling the 2 greatest quarterbacks, or 2 or 3 greatest quarterbacks maybe in the game right now, in Drew Brees and what's his face at Boston. But
You keep calling him Boston like it's some kind of new thing he's got going
It's
on.
his new dig now.
I'm not even referring
Patriots,
to him
yeah.
by the actual
What's his
name.
face?
Them from
in
Boston.
New England,
Aye.
you play in Boston.
Aye.
I
Yeah.
can't remember his name, that's all.
Brady. Come on, yeah.
James
yeah.
Brady.
Yeah,
whatever he's
yeah,
called.
yeah.
Drew Brees.
It's like Ichiro, the baseball player. Who the fuck is Tom
I
Brady?
heard about this. Yeah.
Pretend like you don't know.
Japanese baseball player.
Giving all our listeners
It
all 10 of them a
claims
disservice.
not to know who Brady was. Plays in the American League.
But there was nothing to suggest until they showed
Yeah.
their ability to deal with that expectation, that pressure. And there's players that do think, you just think, the superstars, this will be fine.
Yeah.
And then that just. You have a quiet season where no one's looking at you,
Yeah.
but you just
Yeah.
perform and it's fantastic.
Sure. No.
And then the
I
next
hear you.
season,
Yeah.
everyone's looking at you, and it becomes a very different mindset for you to do.
Yeah.
I hear you, but
And there's no way. Well, I've asked that question. There's no way anyone you give an answer, but you sort of stab in the dark and say, "I was saying I stab in the dark." I think you're going to flunk it, and I'm going to spend all of next year, next half of this year, laughing at Rob for his terrible.
wait, mate.
Niners
Fair
team.
enough. Let's see what happens on that.
But that is the main issue for the Niners. How they look at it.
Excuse me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And finally, the Seattle Shitehawks, who is
Oh,
like
that's really
Seattle.
nice, isn't it?
Oh,
Very good,
fantastic.
Well, yeah, Seahawks is basically how they can. We all know their questions. We'll do it quickly.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just how they're going to maintain their identity with the amount of players they've lost and the amount of people that have shipped out, and just keep that identity of a bunch of rough arseholes.
Yeah.
What do you want to call them?
Excuse me.
Going and disrupting everyone's game, and then Russell Wilson doing his thing. But suddenly, most of the arseholes are left.
Yeah.
That kind of smash mouth
Yeah.
has gone a little bit, but probably not. And the GM,
Snyder, yeah.
no, head coach,
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, is presumably going to keep the same. He'll want that same DNA.
Yeah.
He'll want that same attitude.
Yeah.
Whether you can build that again, or whether you should just switch to making them into a very Russell Wilson-based team, which they haven't been.
But I think what they're trying to do is to go back to almost their identity pre these last couple of years, where the onus has been more on Wilson. Return to the running game. That's why they went and drafted Rashard Penny in the first round. They've got a host of running backs there: Chris Carson, C.J. Prosise, J.D. McKissick. There's Mike Davis. I think the Niners still there. It seems to me as though that's the direction they're heading in, and that is, in many ways, that was the definition of Seahawks football in the early Pete Carroll days when they had Marshall and Lynch. I don't know what you think, Chris.
I think definitely that's the idea, is to try and get the running game going. And again, I think what Sam's referring to is the attitude more than the actual style of football. When you lose people like Sherman, you lose people like maybe Chancellor, Averill, Bennett, you lose that edge. Let's face it, they were a gang of
Winners.
winners, but uncontrollable like individuals really. They came under one umbrella, they managed to find a common cause. They had a head coach with, gave them enough freedom to do what they wanted, but also enough respect that they made it a team thing rather than a them thing. And the question what Sam's asking is, can all these new people that have come in, obviously it's the end of an era and that's the way it goes, can these people keep that ethos up or do they have to change it? I just think it's kind of organic. I do expect a regression from the Seahawks this year. I don't think that you can expect so much from Russell Wilson, and just giving him a running game with no offensive line is going to change that, because the defense has just been decimated. I just don't see how they'll be able to set the tone like they used to.
Yeah, and in fairness, it's all well and good having a strong running game, but if you're conceding points at a rate of knots, then you'd always have to be on the comeback. You always have to be throwing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's move into the NFC North. I've got one team here, so
Give it
one
to
of us
I've
has got
got
two
two,
teams.
I've got
So
two,
you do
yeah.
one first, then me and Sam will go come back to you.
Alright, okay.
We're working this out.
Alright, boys. I look over at the Chicago Bears,
My kind of town, Chicago.
and I see a team and a fan base feeling good about themselves, exuding confidence.
Yes.
The-
Tyrone, he's feeling himself.
Oh, he
That's empty, mate,
is.
that.
That is empty. As you were.
Boy, just trying to drink a pretend beer there. Just 5 wins popped up the NFC North last year, the Bears. Out goes John
Double
Fox. And let's face it, John Fox was like a lightning rod, wasn't he, really?
Foxy.
For anything, lame, disappointing in the Windy City the last 2 years. In comes Matt Nagy on his bloody white horse, and he's
everyone loves him.
Exciting Andy Reid playbook under his arm.
This season's Sean McVay and all that.
Yeah, precisely, mate.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it better. Ryan Pace goes about adding some more pieces to a sneaky talented roster. Mitch Trubisky, unknown commodity at this stage, but his play spiked towards the end of 2017. Parallels to the Los Angeles Rams, as you just alluded to then, are striking to me. Is there any chance of them going from first to worst in 2018 like these Rams did?
Worst to first, presumably.
Worst to first, sorry.
First. Do you know, if it was any other division, I'd give them a shout, but you've got a division with Aaron Rodgers, you've got a division with the Minnesota Vikings in there. I can't see them going to first. I can
They'll
see
pass
them.
Packers, no problem. Packers are garbage.
Okay, there we go. That's that one sorted. I think they've had the best off-season. Personally, I think they've had the best off-season.
I can't wait till the Packers are 15-1 next season. I can get that sound bite and
just keep dropping it.
Well, actually, while you were doing your preamble to your question there, what I had in my mind, what I nearly interrupted you with, was, are they this year's New York Giants? Where we all go, oh yeah, they're nailed on for a playoff place, no problem.
No, they're not, because the difference was the season before we nailed on the Giants for a playoff place, they played pretty well.
Yeah.
Whereas the season that we're talking about, they had 5 wins. It is a tough division, Rob, as you say, but so was the NFC West when Sean McVay became head coach of the Rams. Really tough division. The Rams, the Seahawks and the Cardinals dominating.
But as we say, the Cardinals were on the slide a little bit. I
yeah.
don't think the Packers and the Vikings are both on the slide.
I just think
one of them's
no,
on the slide.
I don't think they are either. But I think both teams have high-profile defensive coordinators that kind of match up with the young hotshot head coaches who are going to take over play calling duties in the offense. I just think it's almost like they took a leaf out of that Rams book and thought,
yes,
a piece of
totally, man.
That's what I think.
I feel good about the Bears this year.
You do?
But it's
How many wins are we talking? And that'll be the question if you want. How many wins?
11.
Wow.
That's a lot, isn't it? 10.
Wow.
That's a lot. 10's not so much.
10.
I think they have a winning record at the very
I think
least.
9 and 7, and I think that for a Bears fan, by all means, tweet us, folks, if you're a Bears fan. I think they'd take that.
Well, you'd take that.
I think Bears fans.
No, I don't think Niners fans would take that.
And you'd take that as about. I'd be upset with that as a.
I think you're wrong on all 3 counts.
Interesting that. It's an interesting question that you asked me. What would I take as a?
You want playoffs this year, don't you?
Oh, we'd all love playoffs, wouldn't we? But if we were to get if we were to get a winning season, I'd consider that progress.
Definitely progress, but let's face it, we just said the Cardinals are 7-19. We just said the Seattle Seahawks are regressing. And then the other
still the Rams,
and then there's Rams.
Yeah, they're arguably the best team in the NFC.
Even in the toughest division in football, I expect playoff football.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a storied franchise. We should be in the playoffs every year.
Really?
But I would take that as progress, and I would, I'd be disappointed if we missed out on the playoffs. I wouldn't be too disappointed. Interesting to see what Chicago Bears fans think.
And they might be in the same boat, I'd say.
Let us know at Pocket Crumble.
I'm not going to sleep on Detroit. Don't you worry about that.
Detroit, because Sam's going to do Detroit. I'll take the Packers as
Sam's favourite team. That's why he's sporting the colours.
With okay, here we go.
The colours, mate.
Green Bay Packers with the heavy investment on defence in this and last year's draft. What was it, Si? The first 3 rounds, the last 2 years.
So the top 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, all defensive players.
That's huge. I mean, I don't personally. Has that ever been done before?
I don't know if it hasn't, but they made up for it with big names on the offense, like Equinemius St.
Brown, of course. Yeah.
Mexico, these picks up.
So at what point?
Your question is, how is Equinemius St. Brown going to
spelt? How's it spelt? Yeah, that's my question. At what point do you think this Packers unit, this defense, steps up? This year, the following year, and if it doesn't, do you think Aaron Rodgers, yes, he's got 1 Super Bowl, will forever be cursed as the Dan Marino outstanding player in his generation that never got the number of rings his talent deserved?
I'll go with that one. The second part of the question, if it happens, yeah, he will. He will, because at the end of the day, he's made them competitive for a decade almost.
And he's much better quarterback than Brady will ever dream of being.
More talent.
More talent.
Not necessarily means he's better. As we
That's
all
exactly
know.
what that means.
No, he doesn't. But that's the beauty of sport, mate, and that's how teams work.
Well, he's poking the hornet's nest here.
But in terms of that defence, I think the biggest advantage for the Packers is that Don Capers is out the door.
Yeah.
And I think Mike Pettin's in now, and I don't think...
He's a very respected defensive coordinator, isn't he?
He's got an attitude about him that I'm not wild about, but there's no way he's settling for mediocre, and I do like that about him. I mean, we discussed it last few podcasts when we looked at what they might do in the draft and things like that. There's no way he's going to look at that pass rush and think that's brilliant. He's going to be underwhelmed. He's going to be underwhelmed by what he sees in the Packers. It's always been too nice in Green Bay about, oh, this is a defense. We'll shape it, we'll mould it, we'll do what we can. He's going to go in there and go, it's not good enough. I need this, that.
Yeah.
You know, or you're not doing good enough. And it's going to be a shock to people like Mike Daniels and Clay Matthews in that defense. You know, Clay Matthews, you're supposed to be one of the best linebackers in the league, and you've gone quiet the last 3 years, mate. What have you been?
Not seen.
He's not going to be a Greg Williams. He's not going to be effing and blinding and like basically encouraging them to take people's heads off.
Yeah.
He's going to be saying to them, "You've not been who you can be. Let's go and make you who you can be." And I think that's the That's the big difference this season.
Nice one. Sam, any thoughts on the Packers?
No.
No? Okay, let's move on to the next team, the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings.
Shoal. Shoal.
Shell.
Is it not skull? Skull.
Skull. It's northern,
Yeah,
so you're
it's
European. Anyway, as you were.
The question for the Vikings is, as it always stems around most of these teams, is quarterback issues, and I count them.
As you were.
Rob Sven, but so their three quarterbacks last year have all departed. So the question is whether Kirk Cousins or, in the event of Kirk Cousins going down injured, Trevor Siemian. Of course, no.
You're very happy about that.
He liked that one, didn't he?
No, it's like the idea. Well, just
a smirk on his face.
Just on the back of what the Vikings did last time.
Sure.
Their second and third choices. So why shouldn't it be Trevor Siemian?
Because Kirk Cousins is not as brittle as the three quarterbacks they had in the previous.
Well, yeah, but you can just get dumb luck and just get.
Yeah, you can.
What's your question? Is as the
He likes to bring it up.
Basically, is Kirk Cousins, or in the event of Kirk Cousins' injury, Trevor Siemian, the man to take them that extra step? Because
The extra step, yes.
Yeah, he's a better quarterback than all three of them.
So what we're saying here between you two, I'm not agreeing with you.
Okay.
Is that the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year?
No, they might get to the Super Bowl.
They might get to the Super Bowl. That would be a step further. Yeah.
But so you're nailing them on.
Not nailing them on.
Nailing them on.
NFC champion.
Not nailing them on.
No, well, a step further. So you see.
I said
you said yes. They're going to take a step forward.
I know.
So Kirk Cousins makes the Vikings the NFC champions this year. What you've
How
both said.
about they have a better chance with Kirk
That's
Cousins?
more reasonable answer. That's a much more
Okay.
reasonable answer.
No, it's not an answer to your question. It's the question you should have bloody asked. Is what you're saying. Do they have a better chance of taking that next step with Kirk Cousins?
That isn't an answer to my question. This is a more reasonable answer. You just.
It's yes or no, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, because what you're saying to us is, will the Vikings make the Super Bowl? How can anyone predict
No,
that?
my question was, does Kirk Cousins, in the event of his injury,
Yes,
Trevor
Trevor Siemian,
Siemian,
right.
take the Vikings that step further that they.
And this is a podcast that doesn't mess around, mate. It's either yes or no, but you left us very little.
I don't say yes or
room for
no.
margin. No, you don't. You talk for fucking ever.
I take a question, take it on its merits, and give you a reasonable answer in return. But you both said absolutely guaranteed, and we'll come back to this in February next year.
That's fine. That's fine.
When the Vikings have shithoused the Saints once more, and you always nailed on the Vikings, so the Saints rather once more, and you nailed the Saints on for a 20-point plus win in the Super Bowl.
The other question is, will the Vikings ever recover from that absolute highlight of their entire franchise in beating the Saints, the Miracle in
recover
Minnesota?
from it?
Yeah, because that's their peak. They're never going to get that. They know that.
Right.
They're never going to get past that.
Right.
They've hit that wall. That's their wall they've hit.
Someone's a little bit bitter about the way the season ended, aren't they?
No. This isn't bitterness. But Vikings. The Vikings hit that wall. That's their absolute apex. That
Is it?
Bang.
Right.
We've done it. We've been in the Miracle of Minnesota.
Miracle in Minnesota.
And everything from there is downhill for them from now until the time they die.
Well, right.
He sat there, he's thinking, how did the shower beat the Saints when they've got 3 backup quarterbacks who are all injured batters.
Yeah.
You know, and now they've upgraded apparently, and it's Kirk Cousins, his arch nemesis from the Washington Red Hot Redskins, and he's just sitting there bubbling under the surface. You're not a big fan of the Vikings, are you?
All I'll say is I think
Different to him.
Now, especially now that Bradford's out the door.
he loved them last year, but now Captain Kirk's gone in. All I'll say is this, right? Is that Kirk Cousins' stats will be better this upcoming year than Case Keenum's were last year.
Will they better than Sam Bradford's were the year before?
and-
Bearing in mind the year before he was the 5th best quarterback in the league.
Yes, in terms of completion percentage. I'll
shout.
take Cousins to beat Bradford and Keenum. I'll take Cousins to be a statistical better quarterback than Drew Brees. So, take me up on that one. There's a pint on it. Not that, because that's a drip of a pint, but a full pint on it. What? I've said this before. You name your category. Completion percentage, touchdowns, total yardage. I'll take Cousins.
All of the above.
Over Britt, will you take Cousins over Rivers?
Rivers isn't completing the season. Behave yourself.
I'm not as confident in going on that one as I am Breeze.
Yeah, no, I'll take on that for a pint.
Excellent, fantastic. Right, you heard it here
No
first,
better
folks.
man. Do you want to polish off this NFC?
Let's polish it off. Let's polish this turd.
But we've got a division two.
Yes,
Right, okay.
we're getting there,
Boys,
guys.
this is a very quick one. Have I
It's up like
mentioned
3
to you
a.m.
guys that the Detroit Lions haven't had a running back rush for over 100 yards in 5 years?
We may have heard that once or twice.
Right.
And also, it's not really this time.
No, no, you're wrong. This is going to change this
it's
year.
going for it.
They've got bigger up front,
They do.
and they've added more ball carriers. So my question is who?
Yeah.
Amir Abdullah,
Oh,
Theo Riddick, Garrett Blunt,
Chronicles.
Kerryon Johnson, Zach Zenner, and Dwayne Washington is going to do it.
Is
first.
Washington
Anyone-
still there?
Right,
Dwayne Washington.
hang on, there's 2 capable of it. Carry on
Yeah,
is one of them.
yeah.
And the Chronicles, of course, can do anything
Of course,
you can
anything.
dream of.
Anything you want.
Um,
Catch a ball, no
but
problem.
also, none of them are going to do it. So
No, it's going to happen. It's going to be Kerryon.
it might be Carry On, but I don't think it will.
If it's going to be any of them, it'll be Carry On. I don't know that Amir Abdullah will be there.
I don't know if Amir Abdullah or Riddick will. I don't know.
Chronicles on his way, maybe.
I'm still.
Well, it's going to be one. They're going to keep one of them because they're the pass catchers. I mean, Amir Abdullah they tried to use as a 3-down back, and he's not.
Carry
I
On,
think they'll
Carry
keep
On, I
either
like
him
the thing
or
about Carry On.
Riddick as a pass catcher.
I talked about it.
Every day's a good holiday.
Carry On, I loved him.
For Auburn, you love Auburn.
I didn't love him at Auburn, but I enjoyed what he didn't enjoy it. I appreciate what he did for Auburn. It was very good for them at college
He was
level,
good in the
but
one
I just don't
college
think,
game I watched last
I just
year.
don't think he'll translate to the NFL. I really don't think he'll translate.
I think the Lions have got
You said this a few times. haven't you?
perhaps more so than any other team in the league have got clearly defined roles for each of these running backs. Blunt, the goal line, in he goes for a touchdown.
I was going to talk to you about this, mate. Because I was
He's a
going
blunt
to.
hitter, isn't he?
I was going to say, Blunt's an outside bet. Like, don't sleep on him. He's not just a goal line kind of guy. He's had plenty of 100-yard games in his career, especially at the Patriots.
How old are you now?
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
He had plenty-
He's had 5 or 6.
plenty.
Yeah, I'm talking about 5 or 6 over the last 2 seasons. He's had 100-yard games.
Lucky on though, isn't he? What is he?
When
36?
he comes in, doesn't he? When the teams are up, which might be an issue in Detroit, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah, that's.
But when
that's a
teams
fair
are up
shout.
and they run the ball down in front, and you've been battling against people like Rex Burkhead and bloody Dion Lewis all
Dion
game, and all of a
Lewis,
sudden
yeah.
the guy Blunt comes in, and you just do not want a piece of that guy whatsoever, and he just trundles off like 50, 60 yards in
I mean,
3 or 4 carries.
In fairness, Blunt was at the Eagles last year before Burkhead was at the
Oh, sorry.
But I see
You get my idea.
I see your point totally. Yeah.
But also, the Lions are finishing bottom of that grid, apparently.
I don't sleep on the Lions. Don't sleep on that offense. You know, they have empowered their best player, Matt Stafford, who we all believe is a top quarterback. Don't sleep on the Lions. Tough division, but I don't know, man. That offensive line is
It's not a
probably one of
tough
the best in
division,
the
it's not
league.
very good, is it?
Anyway, let's move on to the historic
This is a tough division.
Historic
isn't it, Sam?
NFC East. Can we do it in
it might
10
be.
minutes,
Once upon a
boys? We've
time.
got 10 minutes to get through the NFC East.
Which
You're
is my
right, we
one.
always spend too
Yeah.
long on the news, but there we go, folks. It's the way we roll.
Who's got 2 in this division?
Power
I've
through
got
the
one.
NFC East.
Must be Woody.
I have got 2. I've got 2. Let's save the Philadelphia Eagles to the last.
Yeah, that sounds.
And let's ask this question then, Sam. You have little Kirk Cousins faith. The Washington Redskins.
Sam's favourite team.
Yeah.
Well,
that's.
is the transition to Alex Smith a seamless one for the Redskins?
Why not?
Oh, hang on. Cousins is shite. Smith's much better. He says, paraphrasing Sam Aykroyd. Why not? Why is it not a seamless transition?
Firstly, I've never called Kirk Cousins shite. I said he's
inferred.
Boring.
par.
That's an insult, though.
You
the way you
find
say
this
it, that's an insult.
Anyway.
The 16th best quarterback in the world.
Alright,
Another way of looking
what
at
about
it.
Alex Smith?
He's a top 10 quarterback.
17th.
Oh, so it's a drop
Or
off.
15th, I'm not sure. Anyway, they're kind of equal. I like what they did in the draft. I think they had a really nice draft.
Much to your chagrin.
Much to my exactly.
Darius Geis helps Alex Smith, let's be honest.
I think
He's
Geis-
never had a running back.
I can't believe they got this. God, such a steal. I know we talked about
Apparently
that.
tearing the fucker up in rookie minicamp.
Honestly, I can't. The teams that if teams bypassed him because they're upset that he exposed the bullshit questions that get asked at camp.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
The scouts that did should be fired and never work in the NFL again. But because he's going to get absolutely stormy. What was the question?
But Alex, is the transition to Alex Smith seamless? In other words, do you believe Alex Smith will walk in there, pick up the reins and do
And produce an 8-8 season.
and produce what Kirk Cousins was doing? Go on.
That wasn't 8-8 season they came
Yeah,
up.
pretty close. Yeah, Matt,
Yeah,
7
so-
Without an offensive line.
So sorry, on
Without a
those
running back.
terms, yes, 8-8, seamless.
Okay, what I was getting at with this question is, I guess, it's what they've added and what they've got back around Alex Smith, isn't it? They've got
And also, if
guys-
the players stay fit for him as well, in fact, he might.
that was the bigger point for me, was the offensive line is fit again.
Well, that helps. I genuinely believe this in that. If I was going to give either of these two quarterbacks money, I'd give it to Kirk Cousins. He's a lot younger, but I genuinely believe that Alex Smith is a better quarterback right now than Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I think he's a plug and play quarterback. He's a very smart quarterback. I think when you look at the first season he had in Kansas City, he tore it up. He was brilliant. Yeah, he had a great offensive mind in Andy Reid, but no one's suggesting that Jay Gruden's a mug. The guy can coach a game. I don't know how any other head coach. I've never really been excited about Jay Gruden, but I don't think any other coach would have been able to navigate the waters that he has done over the last 3 years
Absolutely.
in Washington.
And I think the offense in Washington does suit Smith's game because it is a bit dip and dunk, isn't it? You know, it is a bit spread.
Yeah, and now they've got a running
Cousins
game,
never
yeah.
fooled it through one receiver, did he? And that's
No.
Alex Smith's game, isn't it? You know,
Precisely.
short pops and whatnot.
Exactly that. And I just think Smith's a great guy at putting the ball where it needs to be for whoever's in the offense. You don't have to have that number one guy, and Washington don't have a number one guy.
Jordan Reed,
I think-
get that guy fit.
I think
Tight ends, obviously. Alex
Jordan
Smith
Reed,
loves tight
get
ends.
that guy fit. You know,
I
tell you.
think Washington are very dangerous. Actually.
Okay, fantastic. That was Washington. Let's move on to the New York Football Giants.
Oh, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, come on, Sam, we're nearly there.
Well, this is. I've done a lot of my questions about how a lot of the superstars are going to perform.
Yeah.
But in the case of the Giants, it's a bit about how the minions, if you were, the cogs in the machine, are going to perform. Because we know how the superstars in that team are going to perform, and it's excellently. You've got the top 5. Well, shall we say, one of the superstar wide receivers.
Yeah.
I strongly suspect you've got the best running back next year, but we'll see. And it's about how the.
Terrier's first round draft pick.
You watching market down?
Not the. No.
What are you
Quarterback
picking?
first.
First, second, first or second? First, aren't you?
Two
Probably first.
I better not be.
First or second, mate.
Not
I'm
sure,
sure you are.
that's
Yeah,
Who's worse at you?
Maybe
Fantasy
not.
football?
Oh, maybe
He's
last
got a
year.
trophy, hasn't he, to his name?
He got a ring to his name.
Well, we're talking about last season now, aren't we? That's not
Tell you
based-
what, Si, the number of teams without a ring, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Right.
Some have been there since the beginning as well.
But basically, the question we're asking about the Giants is: are the sort of the beige players, as it were,
Racist?
That's not racist.
Which team are we talking about here?
The Giants.
Oh,
Okay, come on, the Giants.
Are they going to provide? Are the platform builders going to provide the platform for the superstars we already know? We don't know it's Saquon, but we do know
Yeah.
that they have because they've. I mean, they've got Madden covered stars.
Yeah.
Is he asking
sure.
me that after the superstars, is the rest of the roster going to help them win a suit and get to the playoffs?
Yes, because
The soft underbelly of the roster, is it good
Yeah.
enough?
Is it good enough?
well, that's the question because we know they. Because But they have got the best running back, probably.
Well, I think you want someone's going to tell me who this soft underbelly is. I mean, are we talking about the offensive line?
That would be my argument. Okay, they've added.
What about defence? You know, they've lost a bit on the defensive front line as well. So in the trenches, they're a bit
it's
less.
a soft underbelly that absolutely shown up all of last season. Bear in mind, we all had them down for bang on playoffs, and they picked second.
What are you going to
They picked second in the draft. So
tell Sammy who they drafted. Tell it's different.
So I think what they've done, they've obviously the offensive line major issue. They went out in free agency. They got Solder. They second round they drafted Will Hernandez, which a lot of people had that as a first round pick. They've done their best on that offensive line.
As good as they can do.
As good as they can do. There's still questions on the right side, I guess.
Eric Flowers is showing up at training camp, but to me, he's a waste of space.
Yeah, I've got no excuses.
What they need is the defense to play much better than it did last season. But then look what happened with the Broncos last season. If your defense is being left out on the field for that long, it is going to tire. It isn't going to be as effective as it was. But they do need more from Janoris Jenkins, Snacks Harrison. A few of those marquee players on that defense.
I think you find that the biggest issue with the defense was discipline.
Yeah.
It all stemmed from the head coach. There was no discipline from the head coach whatsoever. We talked about this time and time again. They had no respect for authority in that defense. DRC messing around, Janoris Jenkins causing shit, Eli Apple causing shit, Landon Collins calling them all out as a second year player saying, you lot need to step up and let's get going on this. None of that's happened this off-season. Even all the players have even said that Eli Apple's turned a new leaf because it's a different, obviously, culture down there already.
But that's my question, basically.
Let's mention that BJ Hill's been drafted. For
my question was leading towards the point that they have the running back who can 1,500 yards, I imagine.
Oh yeah, you think so, wouldn't you?
You've got a Madden cover star wide receiver, which is unheard of.
He's not a good shepherd.
If his head's in the game and he's healthy,
And you've got a Super Bowl ring on the finger of the guy who's stripping the ball.
Two of me. A bit like me and my Oxford League rings.
We used to start dashing out in the Oxford League ring and I'll start winning them.
Very good.
But it's more about the bit part players for New York this year, I think.
Cool. I think it's a reasonable point.
I think it's a fair point, Sam. Yeah, totally, yeah. And it may well be that there's a massive imbalance because they do have superstars.
I think they're wild card worthy.
Interesting. Oh God, let's not go down this road again.
I would say absolutely guaranteed.
After last year. Right, quickly, we're nearly there. America's team. They lift the roof so God can watch his team. What will the Dallas Cowboys do this year?
I think we're all in agreement. It's a bit of an end of an era in Dallas. Jason Witten's gone. Des Bryant's gone. That is like completely and utterly changing their offense. Surely to God, they are for the last 5, 6, maybe more years that those guys dominated the pass catching scene. Didn't they? That's the passing game incarnate. Those two out the door, gone. No messing around. Yes, retooled the offensive line. Let's get that running game back up to where it was, which is supercharged. Let's face it, one of the best running games in the league. Defense should remain consistent. You've just added Leighton Van Der Esch. No real pieces moved away from that defense aside from Griffin, who went to the Chiefs, replaced by Van Der Esch. I'm still expecting Rob Marinelli to do a good job on that side of the ball. So let's look at what Dak has got to play with. All right, you've got Deontay Thompson, Tavon Austin, Alan Hearns, Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams. The starting tight end is either Rico Gathers or Jeff Swain. They're people who, those two names most people in the NFL fans would not even know you talking about.
Sounds like a porn star, Jeff Swain.
Yeah, Rico Gathers not too.
Rico Gathers not too far away.
Which of these shit show pass catchers is going to become Prescott's go-to guy? That's the question.
Wow. Well, sure. The question.
Who's going to be the man in Dallas?
My question there is not so much on the pass catchers.
Well, it's a good job you're not asking the question, isn't it?
Oh well.
Well, I'll throw out an answer, and then I'll let you take over, Sam. I don't think Dak Prescott is a particularly accurate passer, and I know that Alan Hearns has worked quite efficiently out of the slot. It feels like that will be the go-to play when he's throwing the ball. We saw under Prescott, Jason Witten's target, I think we talked about this last week, went up. That safety net was there. The connection was off with Des, and a lot of it, I think, was on Dak's arm. I think you'll be looking at Alan Hearns frequently, but it seems to me as though that the main outlet for the Cowboys offense, yes, it'll be Zeke Elliott, but they're also talking about Tavon Austin as a running back. I heard a report they were trying to give him, and I quote, a dozen to 2 dozen touches per game. Tavon Austin. They brought in the big fella, was it Bo Scarborough? I think they're going to try all kinds of different things out of the backfield.
Talking out the hole in their arse.
Then they try throwing the
he's
ball
getting
as
more
much.
than 5 touches a
Well,
game.
they may well be. It's ridiculous to suggest,
It's
but
small.
I'm concerned about where this passing.
So
So you're going Alan Hearns? Well,
I think Alan Hearns,
first
but-
as well. Well, my thing was just switch the question slightly, which
to change.
Rob alluded to there as well in his answering of it. But it's on Dak Prescott, and this is his 3rd season. His 1st season obviously was electric, but very much subsidised by his running back.
Yep.
But he didn't have it in the 2nd season. He had to struggle. He had to learn a lot.
Yeah. Well, I thought.
And so it'll be interesting to see what he takes from that.
Who he is.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he takes from that in where he can work the game a bit more. He had 6 games obviously without Zeke last year.
And
which-
Tyron
which-
Smith going down was a
Yeah,
Yeah,
which he had
I
to
was
find
gonna
other
say,
answers.
I was gonna
and
say
which
that,
he learned
I
a
thought-
lot. Which he presumably learned a lot from that. We would imagine, we'd hope. It'll be interesting to see how much of a different quarterback he is this year, because I think he will be.
I think he's grown quite quickly into the role. But for a guy who was a 4th round pick and no one expected anything from him, he came in pretty hot anyway. But I think last year was
He had
significant.
a lucky first season, didn't he?
He
with his
did.
running
He did.
back?
Everything was there for him. 2nd season, not so much. Let's be honest. And I think he did all right. To answer my question myself, seeing as you guys wanted to answer something else.
In answer to your question, sorry, the 3rd name he said.
Oh, cheers, mate. I think you can fuck off with Tavon Austin.
Right, the 4th
Tight
name,
ends,
then.
forget
I
it.
told you, Alan Hearns. That's
Yes,
bad.
right, you had to look him up. so cheers, mate. I think Alan Hearns is injury prone. I think you're looking at Deontay Thompson as the big downfield threat, and I think that Terrence Williams is underrated. Cole Beasley regressed last year. It's going to be Williams and Thompson.
Look out for Michael Gallup as a potential highest achieving rookie wide
Do
receiver.
you think? I just don't think he's ready. I just don't think he's ready.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that horribly. I just don't think he's ready.
No, fair. Let's wrap it up with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Big question is, can they do it again?
With the additions made through free agency and the draft.
Should we just give Sam all the questions?
We should have done, shouldn't we? Yeah, and then let the people know what they're talking about. Talk. And you can ask the questions. Yeah.
Apologies, sorry, I withdraw that.
Are we looking at the Eagles like we did the Seahawks 6 years ago? A team that is not only win now, but looks likely to win for the next half decade.
Interesting.
Sorry, did the Seahawks win for half a decade?
Well, yeah, for a lot. Not necessarily.
They-
for everything,
they had
but
a
won
winning
lot.
record.
Oh, right, 'cause I
they-
thought they won 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you know, winning in the NFL is not always defined by Super Bowls, is it?
Uh-huh.
It's
Unless
records.
When you say that the Patriots,
Unless you're in Boston.
Unless you're in Boston. Winningest and all
When in
that.
Boston.
You know all that stuff. But yeah, are the Eagles set up now that way?
If they should win that division, there's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It'd take a phenomenal effort on their part not to, wouldn't it?
Are we talking about a team that have got deep playoff runs in them year after year after
I think they're an excellent team. I don't think that. Like when you look at, say, like the Rams, you say, oh, that team is loaded.
Mm.
I don't get the same feeling of that with the Eagles. I'm not saying they're not a great team. They obviously are a great team. They've got excellent coaches as well. It'd be interesting to see how they replace the people they've lost in like Frank Reich and John DeFilippo
The offense.
on the offense.
Key.
But I just don't feel that same way about them as I do like the thing. I do get the similar kind of Seahawks vibe as you're talking about. It could be a short-lived kind of like dominance, and maybe they've got the next 2 or 3 years. They've obviously, they've still got the perfect passing game, great options on wide receiver, you've still got a good tight end, you've still got your running end. It also makes sense that they went out and improved the defensive line. It was already lights out, and they've got like a rookie quarterback from 2 years ago who didn't play one down last season.
Sidney Jones.
Sidney Jones coming back in alongside Jalen Mills and other cornerbacks.
That could be
Obviously,
tasty.
Ronald Darby's still there.
Darby's there,
That big Aussie fucker.
Got the big Aussie rugby league player, there you go.
The future replacement for Marcus Peters, maybe.
Jason
Peters. Sorry,
yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
I did that on my website.
Did you?
Done it all the time. Yeah, piece of piece on the paper. You're looking at it, you're thinking, where can they go wrong? You just think that. I think that on any given day, the Giants could match him. I think the Cowboys could match him if they make it into a running game.
Interesting.
I even think the Redskins could match him. I don't.
Really interesting.
I just think I don't see it the same way as I see the Rams.
Okay. I think Doug Peterson could be the best coach in the NFL.
Really? Now that Bruce Arians is gone.
Now that Brucey's gone. I'll throw it out there. We'll see where that goes.
Belichick's gone off a cliff.
Well, obviously,
You're both wrong, yeah.
Belichick in terms of legacy, obviously. But,
My question for the Eagles is
who's
their starting quarterback?
Is Wentz going to beat out Foles?
Yeah, that's a question for them, I think.
Who would you say, Si, on the best coach in the NFL?
I don't know. I mean, I'm quite excited to see what Kyle Shanahan's about to bring to our TV screens.
That is the correct answer. Even though it's not the one I gave.
Yeah, don't even ask me, you know the answer soon.
Well, there we go, folks.
In terms of getting the team ready, Mike Zimmer's second to none. He might not have the best pieces, he might have a lot of adversity.
There you go.
Somebody really doesn't like the Vikings in this
There
game.
you go.
That's the wrong answer about who's the best coach.
I've got a feeling we're going to look back on Doug Peterson and go, there's a guy who revolutionised offence in the NFL. I may be wrong, but let's see.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong about that.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That was Around the NFC in an hour and a half, asking the crucial questions that have arisen.
One big question.
Post
So
free
that's the
agency.
strap line.
We'll be back.
We'll make the AFC quicker.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
No, they fucking won't, because you like to ask your question rather than listen to the questions being asked here.
No,
Every single time someone asks you a question, you went, my question for the such and such is.
no.
Well, I'm going to count them.
Right. I think you've misunderstood.
No, I'm not misunderstood.
No, you've misunderstood.
Can we, if we go now, we'll get out of here within. Oh no, it's gone beyond the hour and a half mark.
Sounds dull.
Yeah,
That's
Wednesday.
it, folks. We'll be back in 2 weeks, maybe
By
one
the time
week.
they hear it, it'll be 2 weeks, yes.
Yes, with our
It's down to you, Rob, because you're away
One big
touring
question.
your wonderful
thank
show
you,
about
Sam,
game
for
boxes.
calling it that. I am touring Gypsy Queen. If you're in South Wales, we'll be around. Go on the website,
Who the fuck's
gypsyqueentour.com.
in South
That's a
Wales?
shameless plug. I should stop doing this. It's not my show. It is also a chance to plug our sponsors: Royal Flush Designs, custom-made T-shirts, hoodies, whatever you want.
Where can you find them on Twitter?
At Royal Flush.
When can I find my T-shirt, for Christ's sake?
Johnny is going to sort us out some collapsing pocket T-shirts. He tells me he's onto it. You listeners can get a 10% discount.
Nothing's moved on from the last
Using
podcast.
the discount code POCKET10, the letters in pocket, the numbers in 10. All that is left for me to say is this pocket has finally collapsed. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, so we'll do an AFC One Big Question post-off season. Sam Aykroyd, Simon Carroll, thank you very much.
Good night, mate.
I can only apologise again.
I don't. You should fucking should.
Sorry.
There we go. It's all kicking off here, folks. But that is us done, and we will speak to you all very, very soon. Ta-da. Wow, that one got
My
going.
questions are actually